Is Paul Marner Mitch's dad? Why am I getting a message? Why am I being asked about this? Oh, hello everyone. I hope you're all doing well today, tonight, the next day before. I don't really give a damn. My name's Omar Hassan, and this is a little passion project of mine. A little, uh, a little thought of food for thought here of just rambling and talking about things I love and showing or expressing my interest and my questions, my desires, whatever a young male like me would ever want to go through. I hope you're all doing well, and I'm very excited to do this. So this is hopefully the beginning of something new. This is a little passion project of mine, like I mentioned before. This is just something I want to do. I've always been a big fan of and had such great interest in the entertainment world, especially the sports entertainment world. I'm very fascinated by it. So why not create my own path or create something new or nothing new? Maybe I regret this in not even 6 months. But you know what? I don't really give a shit. We'll see how things go. So today I am playing NHL 4. So how this is going to work is that I'm going to talk. My goal is to be your background noise. I want you to put me on during a long car ride where you just need to put something on so you can hear some dumbass ramble. That is my goal. It's just to literally just hear me talk about just anything, just so I can showcase what I love at the same time you gain value back in just listening to me ramble just for some background noise. Maybe I become your favorite studying thing. I have my doubts. So it's gonna be me slamming tables soon if this shit goes sour. It don't matter. But how's it gonna work is I'm gonna upload on YouTube and on Spotify. Search for Frozen Takes or the Frozen Take podcast on Spotify. And yeah, it's just gonna be me just talking away and talking about things I love. And if you're watching the YouTube video, you'll be watching me playing games or whatever I want to put on the screen to show you. And the audio is for if you just want to listen, say you're busy, I don't know, maybe you're having a long car ride or you just got to kill some time. That is my goal. I want to be that just at that stopgap because you know what I put on podcasts a lot, not because I'm trying to write down, I'm not trying to show you guys great amazing words of wisdom, like this is how you get rich or this is how you do that. I mean, those are great, but like at the same time I just put shit on just so I could just have something behind me, just something to listen to. So if we're watching the YouTube one, this is gonna be the same. It's the same audio clip, same everything. There's gonna be no you know uh audio from the video, so from the game I'm playing right now, and we'll get to that later, because it does tie in with the topic I want to start out. But yeah, this is just I want to try something new. This little passion project of mine, and show love and support of things that I really like. So let's jump in. So I'm playing NHL 2004. If you listen to this, or if you're watching this, you'll probably know this by now. But I'm playing this game because I really this brings us to the broad topic I want to talk about. And for today, for the first start, I think to jump right in, I want to talk about retro video games. To be more specific, retro sports video games. So I'm going to play the game and either complain that I suck at a game that came out 20 years ago, or I'm going to have a great time reminiscing of players that I don't know about, or I know about, I never had the chance to. But yeah, let's jump right in. So the big topic I want to talk about, the main thing, probably be titled, is going to be about retro sports video games and why I think they're very underrated, why they're very undervalued. And I think a prime example is sports video games, because since you know what, growing up, and when you move on, everyone loves retro video games. Since COVID, retro video games have been the thing that people have always talked about. It's always been the things that people have always, shown interest about. I've been recently getting into Pokemon again, and I had my 3DS, but I bought myself a DS Lite again because that was the first console I had to go with it. And I grew up with Generation 4 because Diamond and Pearl came out in '07 and Platinum in '08. Never mind Explorers of Sky, which I think came out maybe in '09. I don't know, but I want to talk about how these retro sports video games have been they have been Fucking hell, don't stutter. I sound like a jackass. They've always kind of been very undervalued or very underappreciated. Because since every time, growing up, I'm born in the early 2000s, and I mostly kind of spend or enjoy my youth in the 2010s and learning about sports and showing my love and appreciation for sports. I will always love to learn about the history of it, especially if you know me, I'm a pretty loser Leaf fan, so you know that they suck. So in this case, this game is when they made it to the second round. So the other time they did that since then was 2023 against the Lightning. Embarrassing, I know. I'm a loser. I get it. I'm gonna pick Ottawa, by the way. If you're watching this, Battle of Ontario. This was the first round series. Who gives a shit? I know, my fault. I apologize. But like I said, video games, retro video games, people have been talking about it nonstop, like for forever. Like everyone talks about, like especially since COVID, because everything shut down, everyone got back into it, and things have skyrocketed. As I was like getting these games and getting back into what I loved, or the games that I used to play as a kid that either I got rid of or I forgot about it. Um, it's been crazy. Like I got Pokemon, Platinum on the DS. Like it's so expensive. You search it up on eBay, it's like 150 plus like dollars. Like you could buy a whole ass new game. You get like digital deluxe editions for games of like new games, and these are like games that came out years ago. They're great games. I love them, but it's stupid. But then you look at like sports video games. Like I got NHL. Like I got this game NHL 2004. Like I started collecting these games when I was in grade 9, and like because since I was so fascinated by I was very fascinated just by just the different time than that people can play, or that games work, because I always feel like sports games have always been a gigantic time capsule of of what society was, and like it's just the way things are, like especially for sports video games, because since sports have evolved as long as pretty much everything else, but as things have changed, I've always been very intrigued by just the time capsules that sports video games provide, because since it really is just a stuck in time thing that people think of. I mean, you see, like, if you play the NBA 2K games, you've noticed that there's like retro teams. So you have like the 99 2000s, Toronto Raptors. You have the 15 16 Cavs and Warriors. But it's like in the newer games. But it's not the same, because since everything around it, it's been kind of carbon copy of it. And it's so weird, so random. And I love about these old sports games, because since I've learned so much about them, and that's why I go back to the whole. It's like a time capsule, because since it just makes me think of, okay, how was life like? How was things were like? In this example for in NHL 4, there's a designated hook button, because that was a thing. People used to just hook each other all the time. They would just take their stick and just shove it around you. The best way to score is just take slap shots. There's none of this crazy beat the guy around the wing, just rip it, go bar down. There's none of this shit. It's all about hitting, fighting, and just hooking the guy. And that's what I love about it. And that's what I don't understand that. Well, I know sports video games get bad flack, because yeah, it is kind of carbon copy. I get that. I got flack for that for years, and I still do to this day. But I just really like that it's a time capsule of how things were. And a good example is like in these franchise modes for these later games, these long tenured legacy modes that you can get. And like sometimes you would see like in the top news, it'll be like the news that just happened around that time. FIFA is a prime example for this. They'll show like the most recent transfer before you load into the actual transfer saga when you play the game. It's like shit like that, because it's like, oh right, that happened, like that like actually kind of happened. And it's also these like great games. For me, who's a younger audience playing these older games, I've learned about these players from the past, or these players that don't really get enough talk. As a Leaf fan, you've heard about Sundin. I grew up. There was Nick Antropov, ironically. You hear about Gary Roberts. Wendell Clark. You hear all these guys, and you hear these guys, but you don't really know anything about them. You just hear about them. You might see a highlight reel. But with this, you can kind of get a good idea of how things were. How were they like? Were they good players, or just people like them because they're just tough, or whatever people like them for? I'm so fascinated by that, and people don't really feel like get enough credit to them. Because they're so cheap. I mean, like they're so cheap, but like it's like literally like it's like a history book, and I love it. Sorry, this is all over the place, but that's just how this is gonna be. I'm just there to just talk like a maniac. Nice voice crack, grown ass man, by the way. I love it. It's how I learned so much about everything. How I learned about who's who and who's what, how things were. Okay, this is what this team wore and stuff like that. And I know to not everyone it doesn't care, but if you really care about something, you would love to learn about the past and things before that and how things were. And for sports, to me, it's a perfect example. And I feel like they're just not fully credited. I understand because they come out every year. That's why, because they're so oversaturated. But these really old ones, like this game, for example, this game came out in 2003 to represent the 03-04 season. It's like, damn, like that is an ancient time, man. That's 20 years ago now. Kids are born in like a kid born in 2014 is turning 10 or is 10. That's crazy. You know what I was doing? I was in grade 4. The Leafs didn't do shit. I just saw them make the playoffs for the first time in my life when I was 9 years old the year prior. And this time they were expected to have a good playoff run. Like what the hell? Never mind about that. But yeah, that's kind of I want to be the main topic. But I will obviously, like many other things, to kind of kill the time. I want to go into and talk about other things and, like I said, shit to ramble about. Cause fuck it, I don't give a shit. I'll do it. I do what I want. Fuck it. Give me that shit. Give me that puck. But it's so exciting because it's like right now, like I'm playing. It's the Leafs versus the Senators, and you're seeing like Zdeno Chara there. And that's like a kid, you know. Are these new kids now? This like they think of the Bruins legend. I mean, he is a Bruins legend. Are you kidding me? But what if I told you that guy was holy fuck? I'm an idiot. Sorry, but like this Bruins legend, you'll hear this guy was an Islander and then a Senator, and then he went to Boston. Like Joe Thornton, you always remember him as like the San Jose Shark guy. I mean, I guess there's kids who know him as a Maple Leaf, but what the hell, man? Come on, that's messed up. A little poet like Marion Hossa. That's a little Blackhawks legend. That guy was a Senator. Crazy how this Sens team was stacked and they keep losing to Toronto. They sure can beat Philly. But I love it. I love about these old video games, these old sports video games. Because I learned so much about them, and I never feel like they've been. I feel like people never really fully appreciate that more. That's what I really want to talk about. It's just how awesome it is. Just the how much knowledge I've learned, and how much and the growth or the love I have of the sport or these things that I love, and just how they are. Like it's amazing. Just the way they play through the history of like how the sport was played to certain players doing their thing. Like you would never know that. You would never know that unless you didn't play the game. And it's cool, especially now, since like these players now their kids are now reaching the league. You'll see some names. It's like, oh, Michael Nylander. It's like, is he related to Williams? Like, well, yeah, that's his dad. What's up, dad? Shit like that. I like that. It's like Radim Bonk. It's like, damn. It's like, huh? Didn't his kid get drafted by the Flyers? It's shit like that. It's very cool to see. Or seeing guys who are now coaches. Like, ironically, I'm controlling Travis Green, who's the head coach of the Ottawa Senators. Full circle, right? As the time I'm making this, I don't think he'll last. That's a different talk, though. But that's what I love about it. It's such a huge history lesson to learn about these great players because you can hear about it. You can hear how great this guy. Listen, I can gas up the biggest plug in the universe. I can say this. I could go in and pop a game, and I could tell you that. I could tell you that Ty Domi is the greatest. Fuck's sakes, I conceded a goal. It's like Ty Domi is the greatest offensive defenseman ever. You don't know that. I can say that too, but it's like jokes on you. Well, he's a forward and he was known for hitting people. Also, seeing my goat McGillney, that guy should be in the Hall of Fame. What the fuck? What the hell, man? But it's like that. It's like you can only hear so much. You can only hear what's being told to you. I can only say so many times, or you can only hear so many times. Hey, this person so is great. It's like kind of, and that's why people, especially now in the sporting world, excuse me, they would personally talk about. You see like these big differences between eras. You always hear that word eras, all these eras. That it's like the thing with like in the NBA world, like who's better, Jordan or LeBron? Well, Michael Jordan played against plumbers. It's like, well, LeBron didn't do he lost in the finals too many times because it was a different time. And I love these games because it can really put into perspective how different it was, how good this team was. Fuck it, let's get in a fight. Wade Bielik versus it's his first name Wade. I don't know. I know it's Wayne Redden. Great insider knowledge right here. There you go. But yeah, it's a different time. Like the fighting. It's the fighting in hockey's less common, but back then it was the shit. Everyone talks about it. It was the thing. Guys made their jobs out of that. Now they also lost their lives. Rick Rippon, Eric Bugard, many other players. But it's so interesting, and I love it. I love to see about it. I love to learn from it. Is that just me? I lost the fight. Is that just me being a weirdo? Yeah, it is Wade Bielik. Yeah, it's the two weights. Anyway, running. Oh shit! I paused again. Fuck. I love it. I just love personally just learning that stuff. Am I just weird? Maybe. Maybe, probably yes, I am. But I know I'm not the only one because since you'll see these things, it's like, well, these guys, men all only know these players, these random players. It's like, well, guess what? I learned these players because of the game. Like that's how I learn hockey, and that's a great way for people to learn hockey. What pisses me off about something else, the CFL, no one gives a shit about the CFL and the best way to learn about it is like through video games. That's why I learn so much stuff. As a kid, my first like kind of game was, like the first retro game I really got was NHL 7 on my PSP. It's like 2011. Shout out the PSP. That thing was an absolute dog. I love that thing. That thing is the coolest thing ever. I trade that thing for the Vita. That's my fault. I'm a jackass. I just wanted to play the new MLB games then. But like, it's awesome. It's just really cool. One, retro games as a whole. But I'm on a breakaway. I gotta lock in here. Fuck. Ola Nolan. That's a name too. Like people don't know these names anymore. You know, and I think that these video games are a great way have to preserve um this time of sports. It's like other than the games itself and articles and your jerseys. Listen, I got a Miguel Grabowski jersey from 0809 or the 09-010 season. I don't know, but it's the pajama jersey. It's that fugly thing. I own a Grabowski jersey of that. That's one of my prized possessions. Because since what are the odds that some random bloke like me has it? Shout out Miguel Grabowski. He's a dog. I got a partial break again. I suck. Whatever. Back to doing my thing. But it's such a cool way to preserve this stuff. It's such a cool way to. I love it. And I'm kind of just repeating myself here, but I think you get the point. It's just it was a different time, and it's such a great way to preserve gaming. Never mind just gaming, but just the history of it. You get to learn new things, and for a younger audience coming back into this, you can learn so much. And I love it, and I think it's very disrespected. And they're always cheap too. I mean, I guess that's the good thing that they are cheap, but it's like I feel like because no one talks about it. Like I love every once in a while I'll pop in, an old NHL game, especially from a time where I was a young kid and it was like playing my game. Like I love playing NHL like 14 because it was like the first one it was not the first one I played. The first one I owned was NHL 11. But it's like the 14 was a good one because that's like kind of known as like the last good one. And it's like looking at the rosters. Like I'm looking at like Phil Kessel here. Like that's like my top like lines. Like Phil Kessel, Tyler Bozak, and like JVR. I also own a Van Riemsdyk jersey. Much love to him. But that's kind of like my point. So like, hey, it's fun to look back and reminisce. It's such a great way to preserve it. Yeah. Sorry, I scored. Gary Roberts. See, I want to know that name. I would just hear the things. Oh, he's a big hard nosed hitter. Well, he was looking fucking score too. Pot that shit in. I'm good. I feel so bad for anyone that's listened to this. Just to hear idiot just fucking sound like a maniac. I mean, I already do anyways. So it's funny. But this makes it funnier because then I really seem insane. But it's awesome. I just want to show take a little time and show my appreciation of sports video games because of its preservation, the knowledge you get. Fuck! Shit! Chris Neal scores. Fuck! I don't want to lose to the Sens. I got lock in here. Oh my god, I got hooked. But guess what? That's not a penalty. Well, it is a penalty, but it's not as called frequent. Because you know why? Because everyone did that shit back then. But I would never know that. Because you always hear like the clutch and grab era. Oh, that's a penalty. Oh, damn it! You're the clutch and grab era. Well, guys do this and that. It's like why the Devils. You think like that you see the New Jersey Devils, they won so many Stanley Cups in such a short period of time. Oh, that's amazing. Like what was their secret? No, they just played like assholes. Oh my god, please go in. I didn't go in. I lost the first game. What a way to start something new. I lost. Also, don't mind the shit mic. You know, I just want to see how this thing goes. If it actually goes well and I enjoy this, maybe I do it more. We're gonna randomize these teams because you know what? Let's learn something new today. You know, you want to learn something new? I mean, let's learn something new. I mean, of course, these we got. First of all, we got some dope ass jerseys. We got the Mighty Ducks, the Dogs. Love that color. Rest in peace, the Thrashers. You know, Buffalo is bringing back the goat head. That's awesome. So, my controller died. This is going fantastic. I'm a pro at this, but you know, it's growing pains. It's growing pains. It'll get better. I'll hear feedback. People will tell me to shut up, go jump off a bridge, and you know what? That's fine because I'm expecting to hear that. What's a good team? So the Stanley Cup Finals was between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Calgary Flames. The puck was in, by the way. And it's just, what the hell am I going to say? Doing a great job here. I just want to appreciate my love for retro games and especially retro sports games because since in a time where every retro thing is very cool, retro shirts, you know, retro this, retro that, vintage this, vintage that, and I love that stuff. Love seeing like some old stuff, especially those vintage starter jacket. Yo, starter was the shit, man. They got some cool stuff. Love that stuff. I just think that there's a good chunk that in the sports world you always see like you know especially like vintage clothing. A lot of people love talking about vintage sports clothing because since that stuff was cool, sportswear was cool. They did a great job with stuff like that. But I feel like in the sporting world, no one talks about these you know these games that they're fun too. I mean most of them, but they're also just a great history lesson. And someone who's so involved with the sport, and anyone can test to this about saying, hey, like, you know, I love X, Y, and Z, and and I want to learn more about this. And other than reading books and stuff, this is another great way to consume stuff. I mean, that's how I learned history. I'm a decent history geek because since of like the COD games, because they spent so much time, you know, talking about that. As a kid, I didn't appreciate it because I'm just trying to kill things. But like as I get older, I'm like, wow, like they put some amazing effort. Like World at War is a fantastic campaign, and that came out in 2008, and I learned so much about history through there. And that's what I love about video games, is that there is the effort that if the effort of a good video game can do so much. It can teach you many things. It can teach you new things. You could learn completely new things. It's awesome about it, and that's what I love about video games. And it's just the one genre I feel like no one talks about because sports video games itself is not very well liked. Yes, it is a money grabbing scheme because it's pretty much owned by like one or two companies. I get that. But the old ones were truly incredible that no one talks about. Like ESPN NFL 2K5, like everyone talks about that game. That game is goated. And it's also an old game. 2005, '05. Awesome stuff. So that's where I'm gonna leave it. I repeated myself more than enough. I apologize because I ran out of things to say. Like I'm honest, I'm not going by a script. I made little jot points of things to talk about. Like I'll have my main thing and then I have like jot points of other things. And that's where I'm gonna go off of. So hell yeah. The first thing I do want to talk about, excuse me, I'm gonna pause the game for a second. Okay, is continue more in sports, but obviously this is recent. So the former Toronto Maple Leaf goaltender who just got signed to Vegas, Ilya Samsonov, um, I guess kind of has a burner account and just exposed himself on accident. Let me paint the picture. So the Leafs lose in the first round. Samsonov had to play Game 7. He played like shit in Game 7 because Joseph Woll was a fucking idiot and decided to dove at the last minute and he injured himself at like 0.1 seconds so he could protect his shutout. He gets hurt off of that, so they put in Samsonov in. And before they put Samsonov in, they had let him play way too long. They went down 3-1 against Boston, and the opposing goaltender, Linus Ullmark of the Boston Bruins, he only played when they lost Game 2 to Toronto. That was his last game of the series against Toronto. Is that they put in Jeremy Swayman, who I guess somewhat famously kind of carried the torch for multiple games until the wheels fell off against Florida, but definitely was a huge piece of them beating Toronto. He was fantastic. Gotta give props to him. But Linus Ullmark, someone asked him about who was traded to the Ottawa Senators, by the way. Who was asked about okay, you getting pulled. But what about the opposing team getting pulled? Because you lost one game, and they're like, nah, we're putting someone else in. What about Toronto's case? Like that's your rival. If they're trying to stir shit up, media is doing what media does. They get suck a wiener. I guess I'm technically doing what media does, but you know what? I don't give a fuck. This ain't the same. So they asked him about it, and then for some damn reason, I don't know what made him like think about this or what. I don't know what came across for him doing this. Uh, I'm sorry, I'm laughing about it because it's so funny. It's it's truly amazing. So Omar was like, I don't know why they kept. I'm paraphrasing. I'm not quoting this. Do not quote me on this. He was just talking about like, oh man, that's weird because he wasn't a good player at all. That's a dumb roughing call. Um, it's like that's weird, and Samsonov. This was also like a pretty old quote, I think. And then it was posted on Instagram. I forget which account. Actually, I'm gonna quickly find it. Oh god. Oh god. I paused the game. Oh shit. Don't mind me. Oh, I ain't editing shit too because I'm putting this together. So where the fuck, Samsonov, help me, please, please, please. Where is it? Come on, come on. Come on. There we go. I found it. Holy shit. Thank you. I was posted on NHL Discussions, which is a pretty big Instagram account. And it was talking about, it was ranking about goaltenders for the upcoming season. And NHL Discussions posted that Linus Ullmark is the 10th best goalie in the league. And, that quote of Ullmark saying, hey, I don't know why the hell they kept you playing because you sucked. And I had one kind of bad game. Oh, nice goal, Craig Conroy. That's the GM of the Flames, by the way. Retro game moment right there. You learn about that. They're like, hey, like this is, he was saying like this is weird. You sucked, and they kept you in, and I had a one blag game, and I never played again for that series. At least I don't think. Definitely noticeable. I don't think he started. And for some damn reason, I don't know why, on Samsonov's account. So that's the picture before. Very poorly described. I know. What are you gonna do? So yeah, on number 10, they posted Linus Ullmark. And for some damn reason, on Samsonov like public Instagram account, in the comments, I don't know if it's still there, but it's screenshotted, so you'll find it. If you search Billy Samsonov on Twitter, I'm not calling it. I suck my dick. Big save. He just puts number 10 with hearts, like with one heart, just hashtag 10 hearts. And then he replies to himself, Samsonov he replies to himself, Samsonov _30, November 21st, keep your ass shut or are you injured again? I am not kidding. That is a real thing. That is exactly what he said to his own account. So he just casually exposed that he had a burner. And once again, I don't think this has played with the Omar comment of him saying like, "Why the hell were you playing?" I don't think so. But it is really funny that he's hearting number 10, and then shit talks himself on his main Samsonov account because it's verified. This is Twitter or this is Instagram verified, not Twitter verified. So this is legit him, not some paid shit. Like I think that's how that works. I don't give a fuck. It's so funny because he replies to himself, November 21st, keep your ass shut or are you injured again? Like I guess that's what happens when you play in Toronto. You just go batshit insane. You just lose your mind. You lose your cool. I mean, I get it because being a goaltender, and you know what, he had a very tough year and he bounced back, and then he just had a pretty brutal playoff exit, and it's like, damn, that sucks. And then he goes to Vegas, and instead of getting that payday like he was supposed to, like how he was the arbitration, which I like to think fucked him up, because they quickly run that story down. What happened, unfortunately, was that um, I like to think that in arbitration, because arbitration is very harsh. If you don't know how it is in hockey, basically when your contract's up, and if your contract is at a certain, if you're under RFA, which means restricted free agent, which means you're under the team control, you're not on your own, like you can't sign anywhere you're unless your team owns your rights. Basically, they can go to if it's not solved by a certain point, you could file arbitration, which is basically just a way to bring in a median person to say, hey, can you settle this for us? It's usually a 1 or 2 year deal. Most of the time it's one. I like barely is two. I don't think there's really has been two in either a while or I don't remember. And unless they don't settle it before then, it will go to this median arbitration guy. And basically, when it's this middleman arbitration guy, they have to explain why they're asking more or less for money. And what I like to think is they told Samsonov, "Hey man, you won us a series, we appreciate that, but you know what? You weren't really good at certain times. You just kind of came up big when we needed you to." I mean, for goodness sakes, he did lose the starting job to Matt Murray, who did not play for the Toronto Maple Leafs post like December. Like the guy like played until like January, and that's it. And I think that fucked with his head. And he had a brutal start. He was bad, and then Wolf came up big. He gets hurt. They go to Samsonov. He plays decent again. Things are looking on the up. Wolf comes back. He comes back decent again, but they run with Samsonov because he was kind of the hot hand at the time, and then he fell off the truck during the playoffs. So I don't know what the fuck happened, but that comment's hilarious. Replying to yourself, shut the fuck up, November 21st, remember the date, are you injured? Is that like him like trying to like self-motivate himself? Or like is that him accidentally like burnt? Like I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck was that. I don't know. I don't know what's with the comment for. I don't know why Linus Olmark. I like to think it's the comment. I don't know. It's so funny. It's hilarious. What's even more funny is the New York Jets. That's a train wreck of a football team. They had a player who they recently acquired in the offseason said, I want to be traded. Haason Reddick, he wants to get out. He literally just got traded. It went radio silence. It is preseason in the NFL, week 1 preseason. And for some reason, he's like, I want out, even though I was traded to this team and I've done nothing and I haven't even played for them. And the Jets just said, go fuck yourself. We're not trading you. We acquired for you. At least give us a hope, a shot. And the Jets said, go fuck yourself. So I don't know if that's going to work, but that's hilarious. The most New York Jets football thing ever. If you don't know, the Jets are just a train wreck of a team. They just, whatever can go wrong will go wrong. If you ever heard the butt fumble, basically Mark Sanchez just ran into someone's ass and fumbled the football. That's happened. They've known for just picking shit players, the wrong players over and over again. Bad luck, blah, blah, blah. There's the Aaron Rodgers thing, signs, does this whole 9/11 thing, runs up with the American flag, 4 snaps in, he tears his, I think it was his ACL, I think. He tears something that put him out for the year. Yeah, the New York Jets are a shit show. And that's even more of a shit show. and it's even funnier. So there's my haha laughs of the day. Marty St. Louis goal. Let's fucking go. Moving on next, I want to talk about Austin Matthews. So I'm actually recording this at 12:54 a.m. because I'm a psychopath. And earlier in the evening, it was announced that Austin Matthews is now the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Well, not until the 14th. This is being recorded on the 13th and was announced on the Monday, which is the 12th. Hooray! How exciting! I'm thrilled. So, in a nutshell, John Tavares, who is the current captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs, has recently was stepped down and will be the assistant captain with the big A, and Matthews will have the C. How do I feel as a Toronto Maple Leaf fan? I'll be honest, I don't like it. Nothing against Matthews. He actually was supposed to be given the captaincy in 2020, but unfortunately, he didn't tell a team a very dirty secret. That guy pulled his pants down, hella drunk in Arizona, and he was charged with something, or he was being accused, or he was charged with something. It was dropped because he pulled his pants down in front. I think it was a female. I think it was a security officer. I don't think it was police. It was someone like of authority, or security guard's authority. I don't know. I know a guy in security. He's a cool ass dude. I fuck with him. I like to think so. But something like that, and he never told the team, and it came out literally like I think a week before before the regular season started. So since of him not telling the team, because they learned the same time as the media and everyone else did, they were all scrambling, and they couldn't name the guy who dropped his pants in front of someone like that the captain. So they quickly panicked and gave it to the former captain of the New York Islanders, John Tavares. I think it should be Morgan Riley, in my opinion, because I think a captain in a market like Toronto, they can't be the Steve Yzerman silent captain. I lead by example. You're gonna need a vocal leader because people want answers, and there's a lot of times people don't like Tavares as the captain because they feel like he's not saying the right thing, and I don't, and I feel like he knows. I just feel like he just doesn't know how to put it into strong words. He's not a captain. He doesn't say anything. I disagree. I think he does in the room. I just think to the media, it doesn't sound good. And in Toronto, you need both. You need a vocal captain in the room. You just need it. You need a guy that can stand up and go to the media. And the media is a shit show in Toronto because like the hockey mecca, everyone wants to talk about it. If the Toronto does well, every win is a fake loss. Every win is a undeserved win. Every loss is a referendum. That's what I wanted to say. English is my first language, by the way. So Matthews has the attitude, but is he really a captain? I don't know. I've always keep on hearing these dumb articles like by the Athletic. Well, hey, him and Marner are really taking the leadership role. Who the fuck are they mentoring to? There's like 3 rookies. Not even. There's like Fraser Minton this year and Matthew Nyes, who were like under the wing of John Tavares, the current captain. So I didn't see no mentoring. Plus, Matthews and Marner split the A. Does Marner no longer has the A anymore? Because since him and Matthews split it, or is he splitting with Tavares? Which, if that's the case, that is fucking stupid. Because Marner is nowhere near a captain. Mitch Marner is a whole bag of jelly beans himself. That's a completely different topic. But if you're splitting the assistant captain for a guy that had to step down from being a captain, that is so dumb. That is so stupid. It makes Tavares look worse. People are already like washing him away. It's like, well, he stepped down or they stripped the captain. You see the word strip a lot because there's a lot of cases of captains being stripped. Joe Thornton's a prime example of him being stripped of the captaincy in San Jose. You hear the word stripped a lot. It seemed like it was a mutual thing, and Tavares was okay with it. He was more than willing to take one for the team, I guess. But it does look bad in some cases. Some people don't Some people do. To me, I don't. I just think that I don't really believe he's the greatest team to. Oh, let me go quickly. I don't think he's the greatest guy on the team to really, you know, be the captain, especially since the guy who's been there since drafted in 2012 and's been through hell on earth with the Maple Leafs have been sitting there, aka Morgan Riley. But maybe he just doesn't want it. That's fine. But you know what? It does break my heart a little bit because since I love Mo and I think he deserves to be the captain because you know what? That's a guy. Every time I hear him, I'm like, yes sir, yes sir. I'm not in the locker room. I mess with him. So yeah, that's my thought. It's gonna be interesting. I'll say the least that he's the captain. We'll see how things go. In my honest opinion, they made this move for monetary reasons. He's the best player on the team. He's the star guy. He's the guy everyone, he's the money maker. He's the best player. And that's been a recent trend since, I would probably say since Sidney Crosby, is that whoever the best player on the team is, that's the captain. Not by the leadership, by how good they are. I'm hearing talks of Bedard being the captain, man, in Chicago. We're hearing people just talking about that. The guy's not even 20 yet. He's not even in his 20s. We're talking about captaincy. What leadership has he shown? Not saying he doesn't have it. It's just what? The guy just got out of his first season, and just for the junior, and I'm not blaming him for the Regina Pats sucking. I'm not. But at the same time, his Regina Pats didn't do shit with him. So I don't know if he's a leader. I'm not saying he can't be, and I'm not saying people can't. I'm not saying Matthews or guys like that can't. But I'm saying that in most cases, they're not the real leaders. They're not the one when the going gets tough, they're going to make a rowdy speech. Like with McDavid, I don't think he's the true leader. He may lead by example, but in a market like Edmonton, you don't have a guy that can just keep his head down. It's like, well, you know what? We played a good game. We got pucks in deep, and this and that. No, and that's once again what they show to media. Who knows what they show in the dressing room? But it's just stuff like that that reflects on how you perform. How do you act as a captain on a team? Because since that they may not reflect on that in the room personally. I don't know these guys personally, but what I hear, what I see on TV, and the inside stuff that when they put a camera in the dressing room for these moments, it's like I don't know if that's really the guy who I want to be, who I really can go to war to. You want to hear a good captain or like a good like leader? Listen to Ray Lewis. That guy makes you want to run through a fucking brick wall. And I know that's a different sport and a completely different attitude, but that is someone who, came in the league and, earned it. And I just feel like they just give the captains the guys who are the best players on the team. McDavid, Matthews, there's a lot of captains that are there that are like, you know what, you're the best player on the team. But I don't see a single ounce of a leadership bone in you. And once again, not saying that they can't or they're not right now. I just feel like it's just there to sell more tickets, to sell more jerseys. The advertisement now is going to be Matthews is in the seat. It's a new era for Leafs hockey. We got our old GM is gone. We got Craig Berube. We ain't fucking around. Go Leafs. It's a new era. I've already seen that, or it's a new era. It's like, dude, Tavares didn't disappear. He's just wearing an A now, and if he splits with Marner, I'm throwing something out a fucking window. Because since that guy is not a leader, that guy is not a leader. But whatever, I don't call the shots. I'll just say it does seem fucking stupid. But that is my personal thoughts on the Matthews the captain thing. It's cool. It's gonna look cool on his chest. Maybe he will become the leader. But I feel like there's a recent ongoing trend that guys who are the best player on the team gets the captaincy because since they are the ones who are being thrown to the wolves. And you know what? John Tavares was one of them. A little bit. And they keep on giving the captaincies younger and younger. I'm glad they didn't give Matthews the captain when he was ridiculously young. I mean, they were planning to after going to the first year of his new contract. Not this time, the last time where he dropped his pants. But they gave it to Tavares because it was pretty easy to. Hometown guys, your hometown captain. He's the previous captain. Is an easy trick, but it clearly was going to Austin Matthews this time. So that is exciting, I would say. I'm excited for if this is truly a new era. I'm excited because as much as I hate, as much as they drive me fucking crazy, they do make the playoffs. And that's more than what I saw growing up. Post, ironically, this game, NHL 2004. It's certainly something else. It's certainly something cool to witness. But yeah, it is the 45-minute mark. I'm just currently going through all the jerseys on NHL 2004 because I like looking at jerseys. Jerseys back then are pretty. Like shout out this jersey that they brought back, the Blues jersey. That is the old the red and blue bottom, the retro run, the Gretzky era one that they wore. That's a cool one. But yeah, I like Matthews a lot. I don't know if he's the best guy to pick. I don't think he's certainly the worst, but I don't think he's the best. But maybe he proves me wrong. Maybe this is the time they actually win a cup. And I truly believe John Tavares didn't get stripped. I think they talked about it. I did find it funny that they did say, well, they've been talking about it since the Boston loss. It's like, well, we didn't lose because we didn't have no captain. We lost because our defense was slow as shit and our goalie played like shit. And the other one got hurt. William Nylander had to put the team on his back. And that guy was going through migraines. I forget what Matthews was going with. I think it was an illness and an injury. Tavares is just old, and Mitch Marner's just flat out dog shit. Now, he did came back from a high ankle injury, which is very difficult to come back, but he at the end of the season where they go through all the injuries, they didn't say shit to him. So it's either they throw him to the Wolves or he's truly that shit in the playoffs. I don't know. But I'm gonna wrap it up here. I want to thank you, everyone that listened to my bullshit. I definitely made a couple mistakes. I definitely wasn't the best here. But you know what? It's an area, it's a room for improvement. And I hope you guys at least find me somewhat entertaining, at least somewhat thoughtful. And I'll try my best to improve and surely show everything. So you know what? Have a good day, good evening, good whatever. I don't give a damn. I wish you all the best and see ya.